Hello there, I'm Daz. This video is going to be a speed run of the Creation Club content, Forgotten Seasons. This is included in the Skyrim Anniversary Edition and takes place in Runoff Caverns, which you can see on the map not too far away from Lost Valley Redout. So this content comprises 3 quests: Forgotten Seasons, the Dwarven Crown, sorry, and the Dwarven Horse. So the first of these can be triggered actually by just interacting with this broken Dwarven Horse right here. So I'm going to head inside, get this show on the road. I've actually already uploaded a detailed walkthrough playlist of 5 videos covering all of this content, so for anyone having serious problems with any of these quests, please go to those videos. This one is designed purely as a piece of fun. I just want to see how quickly I can get this done, and perhaps it will also be useful for anyone who is just having 1 or 2 minor issues. Hate those. Yeah, so the detailed walkthrough playlist adds up to about 80 minutes in total. But obviously I was using light spells, I was also searching for loot. And I was going into quite a bit of detail on how to unlock all of the relevant areas. This time around, I'm just going to head straight. Right, I'm going to also be skipping some enemies as well. Yes, in this video, obviously, I'm just going to be heading straight to the essential areas, ignoring everything else. I really wish they'd allowed running, sprinting and jumping, sorry, in Skyrim. It's quite frustrating that when you want to jump over something you've got to slow down. Remember to pull this lever right here. Fly! Become ethereal shout is very worthwhile when you're making speedrun videos. So this is actually my second attempt at making this speed run. I had a go this morning, and when I got to the end of it, after making a successful run, I was devastated to discover that my microphone had become unplugged partway through the video. So hopefully I can have a trouble-free run this time around. I'm actually least looking forward to the summer level. That would ordinarily be the most straightforward out of the bunch, but it's quite frustrating when you're trying to go quickly, is that one. So right here, we need to read this journal. I'll take it as well, I don't think I need to. And I'll take the crown. We can head over here and catch sight of the dungeon boss. There he is. We cannot get at him at this point, because as you can see from the objectives on screen, we need to disable a bunch of conduits. There we are. I'll quickly allow you to see these. All of the horse parts are in the autumn level. So I'm going to do the summer first. Get the tedious one out of the way. Make a quick save. I'll be making 1 or 2 more quick saves during this level because there is potential for instant death if you fall into lava. Equip that in the left hand and activate the repair bot. There he is. So this is a tedious bit, waiting for this little chap to do his work. It's not too much of a problem early on. Becomes more of an issue later when he has more ground to cover. So we can chivvy him along a little bit by just using the wait function. I'm taking a bit of a risk trying to go quickly because you can get shoved off when you try and jump over him. Okay, things are looking good. I'm going to be dealing with some flame atronachs very shortly. Ooh, risky. So I'm going to ignore that loot chest. There is nothing essential in there. Come on, what's going on? Couple of spheres for me to deal with in here. Okay, which means this section is cleared. I can relax a little bit. Well, once I get over these I can. So next we're heading into Autumn's Bells. I think that's the full name. Yeah, there we are. There's actually the most to do in this one. So right here we have our first component of the horse. We can read a note on this dead mercenary. And we also need to collect the Mask of Autumn on this level also. So what we need to do here is we have 6 depositories, wheat depositories, and we need to find 6 separate wheat samples to place in those. There are 3 over here, that's the first one. There's a second. Just one of each is enough. And there's a third. There is also another component of the horse nearby. Here we are. Just next to this structure. Straight over this walkway into the eastern section. Another part of the horse over here. Yeah, you see, they don't actually show up as a waypoint until you get very close to them. Doing this without a guide can be very time consuming when it's your first attempt. I was definitely stumbling around in here for a long time on my first go through this content. Okay. I've actually lost count now of how many wheat samples I've got. I better just double check. I should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. There's another part of the horse under this collapsed tower. Then I'd better deal with these automatons. Right, that was pretty chaotic. So I have everything I need, apart from the mask. Which actually has 2 names. You'll see we have Dwarven Autumn Visage there, but it's listed in the objectives as the Mask of Autumn. There's another Centurion. So here we are, Horse's Head. So if I go to that quest, Dwarven Horse, I'm going to deactivate that now just to get rid of the waypoint. I just need to return back to the surface after I've completed all the tasks down here and put him back together. And we can move on to the winter level next. I've actually quite enjoyed making these walkthrough videos. I did play through this content when I first got hold of the Anniversary Edition a few years ago now, but I never really got to grips with this content. I just sort of blundered my way through it and never headed in this direction again, so this is the first time I've really got to grips with it. This level has a hidden location which is very easy to miss, and you can be going around this place in circles until you eventually discover the mistake you've been making. So there are a couple of chests if you want to dive down into this water. I'm not doing that on a speed run, obviously. I'm just going to drop straight down into this next section. Right, so this is the hidden area. I'll go to the map. I'm not going to make a habit of that during this speed run, but this is an important part of the dungeon. Yeah, I walked past that pipe quite a few times. My first time in here. Took me ages to find this place. Pull this lever and grab the Dwarven Winter Visage. And now we need to shut off the conduit. So at this point, if you're in a real hurry, you can actually whirlwind sprint over to that ledge, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow the allotted route, just in case somebody's going to be following along without whirlwind sprint. And it's only going to take about an extra minute in any case. I should still be able to complete this under 30 minutes, which is the aim. Ooh, that stung. And there we are. We can get out of here. Drop down to there. I will use Become Ethereal. Save a little bit of time. And I now head into Spring Symphony, to give it its full name, where we're going to be dealing with many Spriggans. a note on this mercenary. There's a door off in that direction which we will be getting through later on, but first we need to find the key. And it's being held by one of these charming ladies. This is a prime location for anyone looking to I thought there was somebody snapping at my heels. Yep, a prime location for anyone looking to increase their slaughtered bunny count. But I don't do such things, obviously. Okay, so one of these is a boss Spriggan. There we are, blooming Spriggan matron. She has the key that we need. There is a nice piece of unique loot right there. I'm not going to bother grabbing him, he's not essential. But he gives a nice healthy boost to stamina regeneration and poison resistance. We can now get through this door and grab the spring mask. Alright, we are nearly done. So back in the central chamber, there's going to be a bunch of enemies, mercenaries and wizards. I'm pretty sure I can actually just run straight past them, saving a bit of time. Okay, so now we can meet the Sky Orchestrator. Don't think I mentioned that earlier. The boss of this place. This is quite a tough fight. Okay, so he has a unique dwarven armour. Gives 10% resistance to fire, frost, shock and poison. There is also a book, Turn of the Seasons. I've not decided whether I'm going to read that or not yet. I need to do some further investigation. It basically gives you some small buffs dependent upon which armour type you're wearing and weather conditions. So it sounds to me like the kind of thing that may cause your game to crash if it decides to start snowing. So as I say, I'm just going to leave that on a shelf more than likely and decide later on whether I'm going to actually read that thing to obtain the perk. So we are almost done. Here we are. Let's give him some mage light as well. So obviously I still have the Dwarven Crown listed, but I'm not going to complete that during this video. All that entails is travelling to any forge, and you just need the masks, the crown and a couple of leather strips, and you can then decide which mask you want to slot into the crown. If you change your mind later on, you can do so. You just need 2 more leather strips. So there we are, folks. I hope people have found this entertaining and even useful. And thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.